I'm your host for today, Maddie, and our guest today is Miss Anna Cheng, a certified behavioral consultant with 15 years of experience in counseling families, youths, and terminally ill patients. Her empathy and warmth help to create a safe, non-judgmental space where clients can process and heal. Anna is currently the head of learning and development at High Achievers Training Consultancy, and she'll be sharing with us on the topic of communicating effectively with your child. So Anna, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Hi, parents. Just as a start, I want to thank Dr. Ng and the NeuroLAT team for this amazing opportunity. I think for us, it's such a joy working with youth, watching what the different stakeholders like parents, educators, teachers, they're working with them and what together we can do for them. So today my topic is actually on communicating effectively with your child. And before I begin, maybe just allow me to have a little introduction, of who I am, where I come from, some background. So apart from what Maddie mentioned, actually my first role was a medical social worker. I was working with patients diagnosed with HIV and AIDS. So I was working with them for quite a long while. And even in my work at the hospital, we work with families, we work with children, we work with teenagers. And the problems of parenting doesn't change whether or not they are having a medical condition or not. So that's where I first started. But subsequently, I went on to work as a youth worker for, I think almost, 15 years. I still am working with youth. During the course of work, a lot of times I work with families, I work with youth directly, because many times when the parents find that I cannot manage my child, then they will call me and then I will come in and work with the child and all. And it's been very, very enriching. So even before I am a mom myself, you can see in the picture, I have two little kids. They are 5 and 3. Before I've been a parent, I felt that I've learned so much from the parents that I work with, including all of you here today. I believe that as we come together, every time when we are leaning in to learn, we sharpen one another. So back to what I was saying, in me working with parents, I realized that I learn insights from them, and many times they are not aware of certain things that they already are doing right. They just need someone to call it out and point them in the direction. So for me, currently, I'm actually the head of learning and development at High Achievers. We are actually a training consultancy, and the main group of people that we work with, just to share a bit, we actually work with schools, over 150 schools in Singapore. And since 1995, we've been around. We do not teach like subjects. Our focus is actually life skills, teaching the students things like emotional regulation, anger management, how to make friends. I think that's very important for our children, right? Many times when they go to a new environment, I'm so scared, I don't know how to make friends. How do I manage my anger? How do I manage my time? I'm always procrastinating. How do we do that? So that's a big part of the work we do with the youth in school. So since 1995, we've been doing that. We have trained over 50,000 students, over 70 schools in a year. So this is just in a year. So many of the things that I'll be sharing with you all today, it came from my experience as a counselor, social worker, as well as working directly with thousands of students over all these years. Yeah, and these are some of the schools in Singapore that we have worked with. It cuts across from primary school, secondary school to tertiary. So I think for us now, each time we work with the students, we realize that there is so much that they are willing to tell us. There's so much that they are willing to share about their lives. So that's why to us, our vision is actually changing lives. We believe that youth are very, very, they are actually like sponge. They are able to absorb information very, very well if we know how to connect with them, if we know how to relate to them in a way that's helpful. So actually, when I talk about changing lives, when we work with this youth, what we find very interesting is years down the road, they come back to be one of our coaches. And they will say things like, oh, Coach Anna, I remember when I was Sec 3, you came to my school and you said this to me. So I'm thinking, okay, I trained many students. I don't remember who, when. But it dawned on me that, wow, actually, our children, they are always listening. They are always picking up information. But what are we sending? What are we telling them, as they are growing, as they are absorbing the vastless knowledge around them? So let me go on to share with like what we mentioned. Okay, so today, I'm very glad you guys, sign up for this webinar. I believe most of you are actually wanting to know, how do I connect with my child? I want to build a strong communication, like habits in my family. So before I go there, let me just ask you this question. What is your most common challenge in communicating with your child? I would love to see your responses. So I have listed down the top 5, okay? So these are all the responses that parents always tells me when I work with them. So feel free to just type your response in the chat so I get a sense of, number 1, children don't listen. Yes, all the time. That's almost a number 1 thing. What else? Oh, so many number 1 suddenly. Okay, what else? Number 2 is rude, disrespectful. Number 3, yes, one word answer. I guess your child is pretty old, like maybe upper primary or secondary. Number 1, number 5, don't even want to talk, sound impatient. Just an interesting note, my guessing is maybe most of your children now are slightly older and they're in school, because my 3 and my 5 years old, my challenge is I cannot off the radio. I can't find where's the off button. They're always mama, 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 and like times 1,000 times a day. But okay, I see a lot of responses. Thank you, parents. Number 3, 4, 5, one word answer, sound impatient. And the impatient will always come with being rude, disrespectful, right? Don't even want to talk. How is your day? Nothing. Okay, right? Very common. Yes, feel free to let me know. So let me quickly just go through. What I want to share with you all is this. So these are the challenges that parents like yourself has been sharing with me. And on my side, when I am have a home visit, maybe they refer the child for counseling or for some work with them, I will ask them, hey, actually, after 2 hours of chatting with him, I say, wow, you're such a chatty boy, how come your mama says that you don't like to talk? So I will always ask them, actually, why don't you share all that you tell me? I even know what is their grandpa's favorite drink. I know what is where they keep the treasured things. I mean, they will share. So I will ask them, actually, why don't you share with your parents? So some of the most common reason, which I think would be interesting for us to know, is this. They will always, in no particular order, but it comes out all the time. I know what they're going to say. Okay, children like to tell me this. Children, teenagers, I know what they're going to say. I don't want to be scolded. If I say that I'll hang out with my friends, my mother think they are bad influence. Or I will confirm get nagged at if I tell them that today I never go for the tuition class, I go somewhere else. Okay, they don't want to share. Or no more freedom. If daddy knows that I was taking his bite out and not, he's not going to let me go out on my own. And number 5, almost always, I hear them say, my parents are not even listening. So in my mind, I have a big question mark. Every parent that comes to me, they love their child so much. That's why they even bother coming, right? That's why they even bother asking, how do I connect back more with my child? How do I communicate? I want to talk to them, but they don't want to talk to me. And on the other side, the child is saying, they are not even listening. So as a counselor, I will think about what is being presented to me, and I have a question mark. Actually, what is going on? There must be a disconnect somewhere. So that's something that I realized, okay? Why communicate? So if I were to ask you, feel free to, you can type 1 or 2 words. Why do you want to communicate with your child? Why? Okay, some parents will, feel free to share. Why do you want to communicate to your child? Generally, is it to get them to do the housework? Is it to get them to, find out more about them? So most of the time, okay, the 2 top reasons that comes up, to understand them, that's good. I like that. To understand them, to bond with them. Oh, very good. All the parents that responded, you guys are on the right track. Most of the time, the parents will tell me they want to communicate because they want the child to listen. So I love what Fauzi said, to know their feelings. Lena said to build rapport. Yes, that's so important. But many, many times the parents that struggled to communicate, they will say that, so they want a child to listen and they want the child to change. Meaning there is a behavior that they see that it's not great and they want the child to change. So to the mind of the parents, if I can get through to my child, right? If I can communicate well, I can get through, they can change. But the truth, the interesting thing about communication, actually what does communication means? It actually means to share and exchange information. It is not a one-way thing. I believe not the parents here, because from what you say, bonding, understanding, it's all wanting to reach out to them. But there are times whereby some conversation become a monologue. It's just instructional. It's just, okay, you do this. Because after a while, I think we try to connect and they are not responsive. We also feel discouraged. That is understandable. It's like, I'm like talking to a wall. I remember this gentleman. He came in, his son is 15-year-old. He told me, I'm not going to try anymore. I'm talking to the wall. Even I talk to the wall, the sound will vibrate back. I talk to my son, don't even respond. So he was very angry. But to me, I believe that every child, so far I've worked with hundreds of students, for so many years, there is not one that tell me, I don't care about people understanding. Yes, they may say I don't care, but nobody have ever admitted that I don't need anyone to understand me. They actually, deep down, they wish to be understood. So I think that builds a good foundation for us to see, so how can we communicate effectively with our child? So for me, one of the purpose I hope for some of us to understand is, I think most of the parents here have shared that, but to me, we communicate to connect. And communicate may seem like a big word, but to me, communicate is just having conversations. And conversation foster and strengthen your relationship with your child. So if that is the why, that is your why, which is some of the why you put down, I feel that you're off to a very good start in your communication with your child. So now let me just give you a very simple analogy of why I realized there's a big disconnect. Every time when I work with the parents, they will tell me something that happened at home. So let's say this mom, maybe Amy, okay? She comes and tell me, she said, I need to tell you, my son, every time he come home, he will throw his bag, slam the door, the socks will just throw everywhere. He's always doing this. So I said, hey, why not you try to just ask him, like, instead of school, okay, don't talk about like exams, don't talk about, ask him how's his day, or like, like how are things, maybe soccer and all that, like what he likes. So she wanted to try, okay? So he came home, he pick out the socks, he throw at the side, same thing, same pattern, right? Boom. Then before he go, he actually tried to, she wants to talk. But to her, she's getting like getting more and more angry, he never listened, he's not respecting me. And eventually she shouted at him, hey, you think this is a hotel? She was so angry because she did try. She was patient. She said, hey, have you had your lunch? It started out well. This one particular day, okay? So she shouted at him. But when I eventually met up with her son to talk to him about that particular incident at home, where it ended in a shouting match, this is what he told me. He came back home that day. He was thinking his best friend in school, David, doesn't want to talk to him. All the way from morning assembly to recess and all, he just kept walking away. He kept thinking, why doesn't David talk to me? Did I do something wrong? Is he upset with me about something? And then he had soccer practice. The teacher announced who are the school team. He didn't make it to the school team. He felt like a loser. He came back home thinking, I trained so hard for 2 years and I still didn't make it to the school team. So just when he was lost in his thought, he heard, you think this is a hotel? That's the only thing he heard. He didn't hear the, how was your day? How was, like, what have you had lunch? Because he was caught up with his emotion of feeling like a loser, feeling rejected. Why doesn't my friend talk to me? He was caught up with that sense that, hey, I'm rejected in school. I'm rejected by the school team. Hey, you think this is a hotel? So of course, to him, mom doesn't care about me. She's shouting at me again. And boom, the door slammed. So this is just one scenario of the many, many that I've seen. And I realized it's sad because the parent always starts from a place of love and wanting to communicate, to understand, to build bond, to build rapport, to connect. But for the child, sometimes they are still so caught up in their emotion, they have not gotten over it. But before anything happened, emotion escalate. So this is a common thing that happens all the time. So one thing that I read from Stephen Covey, which I thought is really, really true, is seeking to understand before seeking to influence. Oftentimes, when I work with parents, they will tell me, remember just now I showed you why communicate? Most of the reason is they want their child to listen. They want their child to change, right? And they feel that as parents, we are the one who can change, to change them, to influence them. But when I read this quote, I thought, hey, actually, this is very true. When we first seek to understand what is hurting our child, not just what are they doing, why are they behaving like that, but actually what is hurting them or what is bothering them, seeking to understand before we seek to influence. A lot of times you may see something on the surface and we are quick to come in to tell them a solution, right? But actually we haven't gotten down to the surface, the beneath the surface that is hurting them. So this is just a thought for you to think about. In our communication, I think that starts as a good foundation. Let's seek to understand before we seek to influence, to change any behavior or any patterns that you have been observing. And many times, I share with parents that I work with, because when they come into my office to talk to me about the family problem and all, they feel like a failure. They felt that my son, I brought him up for 17, 18 years. Now he doesn't even want to talk to me. He's telling me he wants to move out, stay with his friends. They feel like they have failed. or the child at primary school was really cute. The moment they moved to secondary school, what happened, and they feel that they have failed. So I like to tell the parents this: I don't divide the world into weak. Are you a weak parent or strong? I don't divide it into successes or failure, but I see it as what Benjamin Barber said, into learners and non-learners. As long as we are learning, we are growing. And as long as we are learning, we are changing. And our children can also see that, hey, daddy and mommy is really putting in effort. So for all of you here, I really applaud you. The fact that you come, you want to hear a different perspective. You want to see if there's anything that, some of the things you may think I already know, but the fact that you are still here to learn, I applaud you, because you belong to the group of learners that you never feel that you know enough to want to know more, to connect with your child. So I think that's a good basis for us to start. Okay, so now the question is how to communicate. So you talk about all this. Yeah, I know my son has a lot of problems, my daughter is very emo, but then what do I do? And before we go into the how to, let me just share you a quote that I love a lot. Our children, they don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. Then immediately I will have parents who say, of course I care for them, I do so much, it's all for them. I work so hard, I take out 2 jobs. They want to learn piano, they want to learn violin. I work so hard, it's all for them. What do you mean by I don't care? I take, so many parents are very, so I say, no, I don't mean to say you don't care. I think it's important that not just we care, but our care is communicated in a way that our child also understand that that is the way of care. That's the way that my mommy and daddy are loving. Because it doesn't mean that this is what your intention. People don't see our intention. They sometimes see the action, or sometimes they may interpret or misinterpret it. But to me, this is a good foundation to start. Our children don't care how much we know until how much we care. Because many times parents are in a rush to correct a behavior. They are in a rush to share advice, to solve a problem by giving a solution. So when they do that, they are showing how much they know, right? You do this, then you won't fail. Trust me, if you stop doing this, then you will get the result. But that is all we know. So to the child, they just hear you are just telling me all that you know. But actually, maybe at that moment when they are hurting, when they feel like they have failed, they may not need solution, right? They may just need to know that, oh, actually, yeah, I failed. I really feel like a loser, and I feel that I am not going to ever succeed. They just need to hear someone tell them, hey, you know what? I know you have done your best and I'm still proud of you. That this is just one example, but let's move right into, some practical handles that I thought to share with you. I call it the pace of communication. So hopefully it's easy for you to remember what is the pace of communication. Okay, the first one, P. Okay, P for patience and P for play. I think patience is something we hear so often. Like, be patient with my children, don't shout at them, be patient. I think patience doesn't just necessarily mean like, okay, we wait. Sometimes it could also mean that when they are sharing something, we learn to bite our tongue, to not be quick to react, like, what, you did it? Usually when that happens, okay, the conversation stops there. So there are times that I work with some families that is to teach them to bite their tongue, like literally, okay, don't comment first, hear first, okay, be patient. But it could even mean that some parents say, I'm prepared to not react, but she don't even want to tell me anything. I have nothing to react to. So then I'll say, okay, then maybe we try again. Be patient to try again, to find a good time to reach them again. Patience, be patient with their impatience, be patient with their unwillingness to share first. And for some of you here, if you have younger children, I think maybe preschooler or primary school, I think play is very, very important. It will be even if they are in primary school, it will be very intimidating for them. I come sit down, boy, I want to talk to you. Then, of course, they're like, okay, sit down. It's like, not like appraiser, like we go to work, the boss sit down, we talk to you. But for a child, maybe when you're playing a Lego, that's a good time to communicate. Maybe when you are doing Play-Doh or something, when you're having fun with them, cycling, their guts are down, they're having fun. And when you want to bring up a conversation or know more about their day in school, play is a good start for younger children to get their guts down, they're relaxed. I remember my daughter, whenever I asked her, like, oh, I'll ask her, what do you like to do with mama? Or what do you enjoy? She will always say, every time I ask her, any time of the day, many, many times, it's always play. I like to play with mama. I like to play with mama. It's always the answer, play. But sometimes when you may think, but we cannot always be playing, you must talk about certain things, they need to do their work. Yes, I agree. But when we use play as an introduction, we usually get higher success, especially when it's for younger children. Okay. So the next A, that seems to be many A, let me take it one at a time. Asking questions. A lot of times for communication, like what I mentioned, it's not a monologue. It's not just instructional. It's not just telling them what we want to see, but it's asking them why first. Instead of saying, you fail your maths paper again, you can say, hey, oh, wow, what happened? You know, is it very hard? Or you can talk about other people first. Oh, did many people in your class also fail? Then suddenly they don't think that I'm the one who failed, right? Yeah, mommy, I tell you, everybody failed, you know, only 2 people passed. Then you realize you're more able to talk, hey, then why you think you fail? So take it slowly. But sometimes if we see like maybe single digit when they get back from an exam, of course, the first response is to ask, what happened? You know, why you never? So when children feel attacked, what is their first response? They will defend, they will be, the walls will come out, they will show attitude. Just as some of you said, they are rude, give one word response because they are scared. They are scared not because of you, but because they know you love them. They are sad that they have disappointed you. You know, some of the, recently we did a training in one of the top girls' school in Singapore, and the girls shared something we thought was very interesting, which I think I want to share some insights with you all. The group of girls that we trained, they were telling us that they have a lot of expectations on themselves, but the expectations are not from themselves, but it's from their parents. But they said this, they said they want to do well because they are very fearful. I said, why are you fearful? I said, I don't want to disappoint my parents. They love me so much. So actually, it's not bad. They understand that the parents love them, but they are fearful because they are studying so hard. They are sleeping like a few hours a day. They are Sec 4 this year. They're sleeping a few hours a day, not because they have a course in JC they want to go to or what, but they are doing it because of fear that my parents will be disappointed with me. So I told them, I mean, there's nothing wrong, but it also made me wonder how different would it look like if they are studying because, hey, I want to do well. I mean, it's a goal I set for myself. But many of them are living, they are working very hard because they want to do their best because they are fearful of disappointing their parents. So I think as parents, we have a place to help bridge them that, Mark, you do your best, but even if it's not what it is, the results that you said, let's try again. Yeah, so back to what I was saying, asking questions. Ask them not just about their results, ask them about their friends, ask them about actually how did your teacher, what did they say about it, you know, and be attentive. To me, communication is not just what is said, but it is often what is not said. Communication is not just in the words, in the verbal thing, but it's also in the non-verbal. The body language, you know, are they slouching? Do they look like, they may be saying, how is your day? Okay, can, quite okay. But if they look like they are down, they are sending a signal. If they are not their usual self, be attentive to notice that something is off and acknowledge. To me, acknowledging is something that some youth shared that they always feel that, you know, their feelings are not being acknowledged. When they share something, it's always, yeah, it's okay. Like, never mind, like this friend don't want to see you, you see with another friend. To then, I took 5 months to get to know this girl. I finally get to be her friend. Then now she joined another clique. I feel left out. But often, I mean, as parents, we want to comfort them. Say, it's okay, got many other friends, you can just make it. But sometimes they just need someone to acknowledge that, oh, you must have felt really, really lousy, right? Like, I mean, you share all your secrets with her. Then, yeah, exactly. So I realize sometimes when I'm talking to the youth, when I share something to acknowledge the pain that they are going through, it's almost like the floodgate open. When they feel that they are not being judged for feeling upset about something, their feelings are acknowledged, they are affirmed, they suddenly feel that, okay, it's safe. I can share more with this person. I can share more with mommy because they're not going to judge me. They understand how I feel, right? Some of you said to understand. So when we acknowledge their feelings that, you tried so hard for the soccer team and you didn't get in. So how, I mean, your friends like make fun of you. So sometimes they will take a while. So one thing I realized also is we can be the most loving, the most supportive parents, but the school environment that our children are in is very harsh. You know, I work with students for like the last 15 years. We go to schools, we talk to the school counselors. The things that the students say to each other can be very, very, very mean. They may not mean it, but it's very mean. Yeah. So to me, when we can acknowledge how they feel, we affirm the feeling of hurt. Suddenly your child feels safe that, mommy, one thing that I'm just a crybaby. they will share more. They will tell you who are the people, they are calling them names, who are the people. I mean, there is a boy, this Sec 3 boy, I remember, he came in, in his class, you know, he told me this, that we were talking about like what they're going through, the voices. Then I found out that he had a skin condition. So his friend actually made fun of not him, but his mother. They tell me, ah yeah, his mother got problem, that's why his skin is like that. He was so mad. So he's an angry boy. People think that he's always getting into fight. But when I found out he behaves like that because he is upset that his mom is being criticized. But the mom would tell, why do you always get into fight? But when we found out more, then I realized, wow, this boy is hurt. But even though he's hurt, he still wants to protect his mom from being, you know, criticized. And that is why the behavior comes out in a way that other people just write him off as he's just being, you know, he's just being like rowdy. He's just liking to fight. So I realized when we acknowledge and we affirm it, the boy started to share more with you. He started to say, yeah, Coach Anna, thanks for hearing me. So I shared with the class something about, sometimes they think that words don't mean anything, but they stick harder than what a tattoo would do to a skin. So it's important to talk about that with our children. So acknowledge and affirm, and let's move on to C. Some parents will tell me, Anna, I tried everything you do. Everything you tell me, I tried. I don't see result. Then I tell them, how long do you try? 1 week lah, 1 week very long, you know. Then I say, yeah, it is some time, but I feel that our children, I mean, the moment they were born, it didn't take them like 1 week to become the 16-year-old son you have now. It took them 16 years, right? So I told the parents, let's try again. Connect consistently. Start to build a habit that your child recognizes that, oh, mommy is not just trying it. Because you know, our children are very smart. They will know that, okay, mommy is seeing Coach Anna, you know, like, so now mommy is like different, only for a while. I wait how long she can last. So they are also assessing. But when the children realize that, hey, it's been a long while and the behavior is still the same. Mommy is trying to talk to me differently. Daddy is trying to consistently connect with me. The walls will start coming down. They can say no to going out with you. They can say no to you wanting to do something, but they can never say no to love. Children will not reject love, even though their behavior may seem so, but actually they do desire to be accepted. They do desire to be loved. So I will tell parents, connect consistently. I give an example. My eldest child is 5. When she was about 2 plus 3, the moment she can start talking, every night before we sleep, I'll ask her, okay, baby, what's one thing you want to be thankful for? You know, then starting, she take a while. It's always the same, ice cream playground. Then I think maybe she don't really understand my question. But after a while, there was one night I was so tired after work. Because some of you say, Anna, easy for you to say, I work the whole day, I'm very tired. You still ask me to go and connect. So I remember there was once I was very tired from work and I didn't ask her that question. I was just putting her to bed. Mama, you never asked me what am I thankful for. Then I realized, wow, what I do on a consistent basis actually is building a habit that my child becomes used to. So then she will say, yeah, we have to give thanks for something before we sleep, right? Then I realized, oh, that's interesting. And even if a 3-year-old could have that, I think for the older children, it takes, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, just do it. It takes time and it takes consistency. It could be at the dinner table. Okay, everybody just share one thing about your day. Putting away the phone, right? Because now everybody is always on the phone, right? Taking picture of the food, doing many things. But yeah, let's try to build something that works for your family. It could be when you take walks. Let's say about one thing that's funny. Yeah, make it lighthearted, because if you never have the habit of talking, you know, heart to heart with the family, start with something. Hey, what's something funny you saw today? Or kids today, what is a funny video that you saw on TikTok recently? So get into their world and connect creatively. So if you find that your child doesn't want to open up to you, find out what they like. Is it shopping? Is it cycling? Is it sports? Bring them to a sports store. Do something that they like and then build relationship. Remember, communication is not always the serious talk. It's conversations. Conversations repeated many, many times build that relationship that open them up to share things when it really, really matters. Okay? So the 2 C's, connect consistently, connect creatively. The other thing that I will share with parents also is sometimes you want to teach our child, we want to communicate because we want to understand them, we want to build rapport. Or we see something that they are doing in their life that it's a habit, like maybe there is a youth that I work with, the mom was telling me, this child always give up, like learn piano, after 2 months, stop, don't want to learn. Then say, okay, I want to learn violin. Then after 1 month, very tiring, I don't want to learn. Keep stopping. Then the mom think, hey, there's something that I need to tell my child here. So she sat him down and then say that, like straight talk, not in a fierce way, saying that, mommy, why don't you just try this talking. But somehow it's like they hit a wall. So I say, hey, she is what, 14? Maybe let's think of who does she like? Is there like a sports person? Is there like someone that is famous that she looks up to, or she knows who is that? Use the story, the life story of that person, how they come through. So the example we found eventually was she likes swimming. So we talk about Joseph Schooling, right? The first, in Singapore, he got a gold medal. And for that girl who enjoys swimming, she's like, wow, he's so cool. He did it for Singapore. Then the mom decided bring her through what were the things he did, how many failures he faced, how many rejection, how many times he didn't make it. So it's not always just telling them a value or something, just do that. Tell them through stories. It's not just the younger children, even the older one. Find out who are the people that probably famous people that they know, could be a sportsman, an entrepreneur. Yeah, just find out a bit more and connect that with them. That is a creative way to teach them something that they didn't expect. Okay, so and lastly for E, okay, enjoy them for who they are. Oftentimes, the breakdown in communication is when I ask the parents or the children, it's always when they talk about schoolwork, they talk about different things. And the children always feel that there is an agenda when mommy is talking to me, she wants me to do something, even though that may not be the case. But the mommy only know how to ask about school. What else is there to ask, right? You go to school, you go for tuition, but the child thinks you only care about my performance. But to the parent, you actually just want to find out how they are doing. But then I realized maybe the child just want to be enjoyed for who they are. So I think ask them what's their favorite Korean boy band, ask them talk to them about anything under the sun. And when they will, sometimes they are very smart, especially they are all the time, especially the older ones, they will guess, okay, so what is the agenda? Where is this conversation going? Are you going to come out and say, okay, now you should do more of this? So I told the parents, surprise them. Don't, at the end, really just the conversation has, then there's nothing. It's okay. Just enjoy the conversation. Enjoy your child for who he or she is, and when you do that, after that, when you start having those conversations that is really just getting to know them, your child will realize, hey, I like to talk to mommy. I like to talk to daddy. I think I do wonder, like my child is 5 now. She talks nonstop. She loves to talk to me. Then I think, how come when they reach secondary school, the words get lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser? So to me, maybe somewhere along the way, if we don't, we don't like diminish the fire. I can imagine maybe at 15, she will also still be talking and talking and talking. So I think that's possible. Yeah. So this is the case of communication. And one thing that I thought to remind all of us, including myself as parent, is I've learned often, like in our anger, do not address issue. Because many times our children, they hear the anger more than our anger of wisdom. Even though for us, we are coming from a place that I want to protect my child, I want to help them. But immediately when the explosion in the anger, we scold them, they actually, even though what you say is the most valuable, the wisest, advice you can ever give, but they see your angry face, they hear the loud voice. They don't really hear the nuggets of wisdom that you are telling them. I know it's difficult, even for myself with the younger ones. I feel sometimes I'm like, after I shouted or after I scolded them, I realized, okay, I would say, don't fight, stop fighting, while I will be addressing them. Then I realized they look so scared. But when they are older, they may not look scared, but they will shut up. They will know that, okay, mommy is just venting her anger. But sometimes you do have very good lessons that they can learn. So a reminder is, if we can, walk away first. When you have calmed down, come back to share your wisdom with your child. And I have a parent who will share with me some of them. One particular example I remember, this girl from one of a very, very academically strong school in Singapore. She was with me. I watched her since she was Sec 1 all the way to Sec 4. So the mom will always call me to say, my child only listens to you. Can you talk to her? She will ask me to tell the daughter to join this CCA, to do this. Then I think, don't you live in the same house? I didn't tell her. Okay, but in my mind, I'm thinking, something must be happening. So when I asked the daughter, I said, hey, how are things at home? She will be excited talking about everything else. But the moment I ask about home, face just changed. She said, okay, it's just like that. She doesn't want to talk about family. So it got to a point, it was so bad. The mom was wanting to chase her out of the house. Then I said, you know what? Why don't we meet up together? I've always been talking to your mommy. You have always been talking to me, but let's all talk together. So when we meet up, then I realized that for this child, for the longest time, she always believed, okay, it's not the truth, it's what she believes. She believes that she is never good enough, than her sister, her older sister. And her mother always think the older sister is better. So to her, every time when the mom wants to talk to her, she would come home, she will hide inside the room. She's very scared the mom will ask her about school, about how she did, because she knows, okay, mom will not be pleased with what she hears. That is what she thinks. The mom feels that she's so rude. She don't even call me when she come back home. I brought her up for 14 years and that's how she's behaving. So when we talk, the mom feels that she's rude, she's disrespectful. She doesn't even love her as a mother, doesn't respect her and all. But the daughter feels that, I'm not worthy enough. But when we talk about it for the first time in front of me, the mom said, you know what? Mama is so proud of you. And she cried. And then it started with tearing. Then she just broke down. She said, no, you always say Zeze. I said, Zeze is good, but you never hear the next part. I said, I think you can do even better. I believe that you cannot, that I'm saying you're not good. But she only heard the part that Zeze is good. And she cried and she cried. And for the first time, in front of a third party also, she heard the mom say, I'm proud of you. And for the first time, she told the mom that, Mommy, because I love you so much, I don't want you to, I don't want to disappoint you. Yeah, and the mom teared, and the mom apologized to her that, sorry, I may come across as being very, very hard towards you. So after that, suddenly I have no more calls from the mommy. The girl will tell me what she would do with her Zeze and her mommy. They're going shopping and this and that. And to me, it's just a misunderstanding over the years that have built up for her to think that the mom is not proud of her. The communication has broken now, but it took that just one, sometimes it takes longer, but for this particular family, it was one session of sitting down and there was a re-establishment of trust between the mother and the child. So to me, I felt that, hey, what I always tell the parents when they say this line to me, my child only listens to you, can you talk to her? I will usually say no, because I will tell them this, okay? This is what I like to, that means, I would like to tell them this. I will tell them that you actually get to be the loudest voice in your child's life. And what you say to them matter more than you know. So to me, yes, I can talk to your child and I will, as a youth worker, as a counselor, I will. But many things I can talk to your child, but only you can love your child as a mom. And when you do that consistently, they will realize that, hey, mommy really wants to connect with me. Even if they may seem like they can't be bothered, they are cold towards you, one word answer, don't want to talk. But if you connect consistently, it's only a matter of time that your child realizes, wow, actually what mommy said is really, really true and they really love me. Why do I say what you say to your child matter more? Because there are some girls or some boys that I work with, they will share me, my mom says this, my mom says. Then I realized actually many parents don't realize your words are imprinted on the hearts of your child. They may not tell you, but they will tell someone else. Okay? So the question to leave your thinking is actually, what message is your child hearing? And often, this is just a little summary for all of you, is that our child reluctance to communicate, it's not a reflection of our failure in parenting. Some parents, when they come to me, they are in tears because they feel that, they don't have a good relationship with their own parents. That's why they don't know how to connect with their own child now. They feel that they have been so busy working and the maid has been looking after the child. So they start to blame themselves. But I also share with the parent that, hey, you got to understand that your child is also finding out about himself or herself. Let's say they just become a teenager. He or she is dealing with changes in the body, the voice breaking or like pimples on the face, not making friends in school. They are finding out their own identity. They not wanting to talk could be because they are also going through certain things. It takes a while for them. So don't see that as a reflection of your failure in parenting. And as we talk about remember patient, it's not just being patient with our child. I think it starts first with us being patient with ourselves as parents. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you think that, you are a mom, you have 3 kids, how come I can't even connect with my child? The truth is this, even though you are a mom of 3 kids, 4 kids, it's the first time your eldest child is like 15. It's the first time, and even if you have like a few older children, every child is different. Every temperament is different. The school they go to is different. The friends they make with is different. The environment that our child go through is different. So be patient with yourself. And I mean, we wish lah, but our children don't come with a manual, right? Like if we are operating a phone or anything, we go back to the manual. But our children doesn't come with a manual. And the best part, they are always changing. So be patient with yourself. Give yourself time and space to grow to be a parent that your child recognizes that you are also trying. I think I remember once when I shouted at my child, then after that I felt very bad and I said, hey, sorry, baby, mama is learning to be a mama. Then someday I just said it in passing, but a few days later when something happened and I think I was saying something else and I felt like I was sighing. Then my daughter came to me and said, Mama, it's okay. You are learning, right? You are learning how to be a mama. Then I realized, wow, actually, no matter how young they are, sometimes what we do say, we think that there's no communication. But hey, remember I told you, you get to be the loudest voice in their life. And what you say matters so much more to them. So it doesn't matter your child is 3, 13, or even 30, you have that voice, that authority in their life. And when you speak, they may not respond immediately because like what I tell you, they are also discovering themselves. They're also finding out more about themselves. Yeah, so that's something that how to live with your. And also, next, I actually have an example. Just now I talk about patience, being patient when we are with our children. There is a testimony of one of the parents that have been using the NeuroLAT program where I thought to share with you all where she uses patience with her child. And let's watch.
Hi, I'm Joy, and just want to share my journey with you, like how it is to actually talk to your kids, especially if, let's say, there are things that you want to encourage them to take on. Especially for me, when I saw NeuroLAT, something that is actually going to benefit my son, and I find it that the initial phase is I'm just very worried that he's not going to accept it. And true enough, when I broke this news to him, said, hey, Asher, can you actually try this program? And then I shared with him the benefits. The initial stage, right, he's very, he just rejected it. He just said that he got no time, he just want to play, he just find that it's very tiring, why he need to do this. So there's a lot of questioning, and I find it very difficult for him to get on the program. So the key thing how things turns around is I felt that it's really that you need to be very, very patient with your kids and set that down, find the right time to really communicate, sharing with them why and then what is the benefit, because they are in this age whereby they don't really know why they need to do certain things. So we really need to be very patient and then break it down, communicate in a level that they can really understand. So coming along, this is about 3 weeks to a month. So I'm just very happy to share that, before this video, I actually talked to Asher and he was saying that after the 1 month, he felt that he takes a shorter time to actually finish his homework. So which I felt that is the focusing that actually helps him in his schoolwork. So just to also share that we got back his recent test. So he got crossed 83% for his maths and a full marks for his English. So in the past, right, he's just a very borderline student. But we feel that having this program coming along, it actually helps him a lot. So that if there is anything that you want to actually, let your son or your daughter actually try it, right? And you felt that, just very worried that they will not receive it wholeheartedly or they will reject it. So my experience that just want to share with you is really taking time, not to force it through, but give them time and take some patience to communicate, break it down, and then really speak to them. I hope that this will actually help you, and I'll see you. Bye-bye. Hi, I'm John.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna, for taking time to share these powerful truths with us. And here are 3 things that I learned from Anna's sharing. Number 1, communicate simply to connect. Get into their world, connect consistently, and connect creatively. Okay, and seek to understand them before seeking to influence them. That's so powerful. And number 2, as long as you're open to learn, there's hope. So as long as we're learning, we're growing, and our children can see this quality in us. Okay, and number 3, our children don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. And we get to be the loudest voice in our children's lives. So what we say to them matters more to them than we know. So let our messages be the best and most loving that our kids will hear. Thank you so much, Anna, for sharing. And now for the Q&A segment. If you have any questions for Anna, please feel free to type it in the chat box below.
We also have Dr. Ng here with us, so feel free to, if there's any questions that you parents would want to ask. And I find that a lot of times when we share, the answers, we may already know it within us. But as we talk about it more, then we realize, oh yeah, actually that's what I've been doing, it's just a minor tweak and you will see a breakthrough. So feel free to ask any questions if you have.
Thank you, Anna. You have shared with us a very good and very practical way to help our children. Well, I was listening to your message, and I think one of the communication we have broken and or miscommunicate is mother is sending a message from a station, maybe in Woodland, but the son is at Changi to receive the message, so they don't get the message because you are talking and then he's doing something else, so they don't get the message. So sometimes when we want to talk to our children, maybe it's good that put out the things, ask him to sit down or face to face, then we start talking. You don't, as he's walking and then you are talking, you are cooking and then he's doing his homework and then you're shouting at one end, he's receiving, and that's why he will not listen. Secondly is if we keep repeating, I already told you, I already told you, I already told you. So how to react? Already nothing to react. So it's not that our children didn't respond. It is only the problem is I already know. And how? I already said no, but you keep saying and you want me to change to yes. So it's difficult. So I think Anna have bring up the way. So the method. So I have learned. Anna, thank you so much. If I have heard your message, I can have better communication with my daughter.
Somebody asked a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah, Shanti was asking, does it apply to special kids?
Children with special needs.
Yes.
That one. Okay. I think for me, I don't work directly. I do serve with a group. I volunteer with a group of teenagers with autism. Yeah. So I think for every child, what I understand about children, Dr. Ng, feel free to weigh in after this. I think for me, I realized that for children with special needs, every one of them is really, really different. But I find that it doesn't vary too much in terms of the pace, because pace is actually a handle, but it looks very different for different children. This question is also asked by Joel that talk about, is there a specific age group that works with it? How I see it is I use it with my own child that is 3 and 5. I use it with the teenagers that I counsel that are like 16, 17. But the way I do it is different. Let's say one example, we talk about connecting creatively. For my younger children, I will tell them something through a storybook that I read. I will dramatize and then I will play with them. Then I bring across the message of sharing is fun, But I cannot do that with a 14-year-old, right? They will think that what you're trying to do. Yeah, so to me, the principles are the same, but the examples, the way that you work it up, what is play for a 4-year-old and what is play for a 14-year-old or a 16-year-old look very different. Maybe 16-year-olds now they are into like drones or they like to be on TikTok, So what connects them at different level varies, and you will know your child the best. Some of your child like the outdoor. Some just want to stay at home, and be like, let's say reading or like be on their phones and all. But the principles are there. Yeah. So Dr. Ng, you want to add on to anything?
Yeah, I think parents always face the challenge on what happens if the children challenge my authority. I think we have to remember when our children at the age of 3, he already start to ask, why mommy, why cannot, why cannot? But when he is 3 years old, it's so easy to convince him. No lah, mommy said no lah, cannot lah. Now going for lunch, wait lah. At 3 years old, it's easily to accept our reason. But when it come to teenager, you say, wait, why wait? Then you. So I think as the child is growing, one way is we need to have more reason to convince them and to explain to them. So don't feel that you felt that you've been offended. How come now you're not listening? I have no more authority. I don't feel that way. I think children just wanted to know, and sometimes they just wanted to start to make a decision for themselves. So communication, like Anne was sharing, we just wanted to know information of passing our information to them. And I think as parents, once they reach to this age, as long as we have given them the information, which is complete information, as if we shout and tell him, no, you cannot, you are naughty or whatever, the full information is not presented properly. So when the child make mistake, it is not fair. So that's why communication is a way that we present the whole informations. And then as parents, we also need to understand that this is the age that they need to make decision by themselves. Unless your life and death, that one you have to stop. Other than that, let them face the consequences because they already come to this age. As young, then it's easy. If you say no, you also cannot do anything. But when they come to youth, they leave the house, they go out, they don't want to come back. So I think we need to communicate because we need to pass the whole full information. And then let him consider, do I still want to face the consequences? So I think life is bad. Well, we all know, but we don't turn bad to worse. And children tend to turn bad to worse. So let them face the consequences, learn the price, learn the lesson through some price. Some price is small, some maybe bigger. So they have to learn through. So communication is to help them to understand the consequences. And then after that, you have to live it because no matter how, you can't force them. You cannot pull their ear, you come back home. He will not listen. So no way already. So I think younger is important. So if your child already become youth, and you need to use another way. So as I listen to Anna, I think most parents know why my children would like to talk to Ayi, talk to the uncle, talk to anyone else, but not me. I'm the mother, I'm the father. Why not me? The rest all can. That means they can communicate. Not that the children cannot communicate, only cannot communicate with you. So that means the problems or the difficulties maybe is parents. So that's why I love Anna was sharing that we need to learn. He classified 2%, not learning or learning. So we keep learning, we'll improve our communication skill, and we can communicate with our child. And this is important. You cannot communicate, you have no good relationship. With good communication, then you have good communication, good relationship. And we hope that you can share more. I have learned so much from you. Hopefully, we will have a privilege to get you come back again, share with us. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, we have one more question. What age group is PACE best for?
Yeah, I think I shared that earlier on with regards to like the principles apply, but it's just the way that I wouldn't say any age group is specific for, but the way that we do the play, the way we do the connecting, show like how creativity looks like at different age. That is how we contextualize. I know Joelle also asked another question. Thank you for being so vulnerable and open, Joelle, to share like the challenge you have with your child. You talk about how your child is a 3-year-old and he will wake up and hit you in the morning. I think how I see it is that children at that age, they're still very young, toddlers, right? At toddler, preschool, sometimes emotions are very, very big, and some even without reason. Yeah, but I feel that if it's the question I may have is it a consistently thing? To me, I learned that sometimes when my child, both my kids are very, very attached to me. But sometimes for whatever reason, they will also push me away, they will cry. Then I realized that it could be something else that bugged them. But yours is just wake up, right? But one thing I learned is this: I will give them the space first. So I will not insist to, because I think even as children, though they are young and they are not a lot smaller, I will let them ride out the emotion first. Yeah, if they're screaming and crying, I know the more I come near, the more it will be. So I'll let them ride out the emotion first. And your other question is actually, how can I bond with him? So I think maybe find out from, if one way we do, I mean with my husband too, we will find, not say play the father-mother game, but it's combined power is better. So if you feel that, okay, sometimes your child will ask for daddy, can get your husband to find out from the child, like, hey, how come in the morning you don't want mommy, or like you don't want mommy to like hug you, or have mini conversation. Even though they seem young, you will be surprised that they actually are able to articulate, to share certain things. So what I feel is, instead of just talking, let's say for yourself, is you can do more of the P, play more with him, because build enough emotional deposit. You probably already are doing that, but find out, get him to choose, give him that sense that, oh, I get to choose what I want to play with mommy. Yeah, and let him feel that sense that, it's a decision that he makes, and you do that with him. And don't have to focus on one thing to like address that first. I feel that put more emotional deposit, that means play more with him, have more fun with him. Then after a while, we see how it goes. Because for me, what I read, I feel that sometimes young children, when they just wake up, it's really for no reason. They can be very grouchy, but after a while, actually, they forget. Yeah, so I hope.
Yeah, I may like to add, this one is more on parenting skill. For communication, we'll ask Anna to answer. Children will always tend to throw tantrum. When he wanted to get something, so he will throw tantrum and cry, or use the head to bang the wall. So how parents can react to these children? So like these parents was asking, I didn't see your name. When he wake up 3 years old and he looking for daddy, but then no, he hit the mommy. No. So now whether he looking for ice cream, so he hit you, he throw tantrum, or he want to buy a toys and then he throw tantrum. I think parents at the age of 3, they have to learn the lesson that no. When a child grow up with an environment, everything is yes, you are creating a very, very bad future for him or for your child. Now, life is not always yes. The difficulties is more than smooth, as Chinese saying, 十之八九, all not smooth, difficult things. So I believe when child is young, it is not necessary to fulfill every wish that he wanted. Don't become the Aladdin, the genius. Your wish is my command. then you created a monster in your family. So then how can we tell the child that, no, you are not allowed to do that? So let's say he threw tantrum. He wanted something, he want daddy, but daddy is not there, and you are there. So what you do is, he's 3 years old. You hold him up and you tell him that, yes, mommy know that you want daddy, but daddy is not here. Okay, but mommy love you. And if he start hitting you, then you have to hold the hands and tell him that that is not the right way to tell me. Now you have to tell me, I want daddy. Okay, now you say. Then if you want to say he struggled, then you don't talk, keep quiet. It means that we will not allow him to use a wrong way to express what he wants. If he can use that, then you will be controlled by him. Sorry, Anna, because this question I wanted to explain more detail. Take out your time.
No, it's good, Dr. Ng. Please continue.
Yeah. So what we do is, we will not give way to him. To tell him that, no, if he cry, it's okay. I believe that allowing a child to cry, there's nothing wrong. You cannot say, don't cry, cannot cry. No lah, when we are sad, even we are adult, we cry lah, but not in front of so many people. Or quietly we will cry. We will cry inside our heart. So when you are sad, when you wish to get something, you don't get it, you are sad, you will cry. Now, this emotion is okay. But how to express my sad, my anger, that is different things. You cannot, because I'm angry, so I can throw things, I can bite people. No, that is wrong way to express our anger. So tell him, no, but you need to tell me properly. I want daddy. Okay, yes, now mommy hear you. You want daddy, but daddy is not here. I'm here, I love you. But you can cry. It's okay to cry. I know that you're sad because daddy is not around. Okay, now let mommy hold you. But I will bring you to daddy. I will call daddy here. I will ask daddy here. Or daddy is going down there to buy breakfast. He's coming back. So you have to wait. So we have to let the child know the right way to express what he wants. Do not agree and tell, sorry, daddy not here. Oh, sorry. Or you want to hit me, you hit lah, can. Oh, bad mommy lah, sorry lah, daddy not around. It's my fault lah. It's not your fault. He is using the wrong way to express. So as parents, do not give way when the child is not right. So then he will experience or learn when something I want, I couldn't get it. It's okay. Life will still go on. Yeah, is it painful? Is it sad? Yes, but that will not kill you. But if you react wrongly, that will kill you. Your life will become bad to worse. So don't turn your life from bad to worse. You turn your life back to good, not to worse. By reacting the right way, then your life will become better, not worse. So this is, as a parent's task, we bring our child in the right way, nurture them with the right way, right way to express himself. So do not agree with the child when they're using wrong way to express. For this peace communication, I think for special needs child, it's also the same method. So you have to be patient. You have to, but maybe there are more easier to communicate. They have less emotion. Of course, some are different. I think, but the same principle can be used with them. Yeah, I think I stop here.
We have a parent who also asked, how do I communicate with kids who have very strong opinions? And how do I talk sense to my kids when they're very stubborn?
Yeah, so our expert Anna can answer communication.
Actually, I feel that it's a very healthy thing that your child has strong opinion. I think we will be concerned children have no opinion of their own, right? And they will be so easily influenced by their peers or whatever. But I feel that you talk about how do we influence them. I think different contexts, it really like what Dr. mentioned about, if it's not a matter of life and death, I feel it's good to teach them about consequences. Sometimes they want to make certain choices, you know. They will come to a point in their life that you know, they say, I'm old enough to make my own choices. Yes, you are. You can choose, but some actions, you cannot choose the consequence of your actions. So to a large extent, I feel that it depends on how old is the child, if I may ask.
She didn't say. So
because I feel that sometimes the younger children, we need to give more boundaries. I like what Dr. Ng shared just now, because essentially he's talking about drawing boundaries for our children. It may seem like we are not allowing them, but I feel that children feel safe when we draw a boundary. And within that boundary, they know what is appropriate. And we are teaching them how to regulate their emotions, how to show their displeasure in a healthy manner. So back to the question about someone with a strong opinion, I think it's also for us as parents, it's hard for us, especially if we think, I really know better than you, you know, you should try this way. So to me, to answer that question, I don't have the full context, but I feel that if it's not a matter of life and death, it's okay.
She's saying that she's 6 years old.
Okay. I think 6 years old is still needing
already strong opinions at 6 years old. Wow.
Yeah, so it's good. So it's how we teach them, like some things, they can have their opinion, but they will not always have their way, right? So, you know, I think for younger children, they need to know that to a large extent, we cannot, as parents, we don't want to be indulgent parents. Whatever you want, you get it, right? They can have their opinion, but it depends on the situation. Sometimes, yes, if it's a matter, there's a place where I think as parents, we are also thinking, I want my child to be able to be independent, right? To be able to think independently. But that doesn't mean that when they want to exert their own opinion, they become rude to others or they hurt other people. As long as I feel that certain values are in place, it is okay to have their opinion. But if it comes to a place where you feel like it will actually affect certain, like other people, inconvenient other people, or it's bordering on the line of defiance, then I think they have to be put in their place to say, that is your opinion, but daddy and mommy is not going to let you have your way because I say so for now. As they are older, then I think we have to teach them about consequence. So I give you an example. Maybe some children, they have very strong opinion about food, what they want to eat or what they don't want to eat. Natural consequence is, this is what I have cooked, I'm putting it on the table. If you're not going to eat this, you know, then you will have to go hungry. People may think, what, let them go hungry? But over time, they will realize, okay, some things are, I mean, to me, they need to learn the world doesn't revolve around them. The earlier we teach our children that, I think we are doing them a big favor. Same thing with opinion. Next time when they go to school, when they go and do project with their friends, when they go to work, there will always be people with different opinion. So I think it's good to let them learn that you can have your opinion. Are you also willing to listen to other opinions and learn to find something common that we can agree together? So actually, this is an important life skill that our children will need to have. Yeah, which I think it's leave for another topic. But in summary, I do feel that it's okay for them to have their opinion, but when it crosses certain line, then they have to be put in their place. Yeah, to not overstep authority, not overstep boundary. Because if we don't teach them, I think it is our parent to really draw the boundary for them.
Yeah, I think the child have strong will. Threaten the parents is because he wanted to play computer. Very strong will. I want to play. that strong will is wrong. If he have strong will, I want to study. Wow, we are so happy. Yes, go ahead.
Oh,
So
actually, I have one example. I saw one parent mention earlier on about the handphone, right? I once counseled, I did a home visit for a family, a girl that's 13 years old. She's a very quiet girl, very pleasant and all. But the parent keep telling me she's out of control because she needs to always be with her phone and she must sleep with her phone like charging right beside her. So each time she don't get it, she will throw a big fit, throw things around, scream and all. Then the mother will let her have it. Then after a while, I realized actually our children are very smart, right? They will realize what behavior I do. You know, it's like a positive or negative reinforcement. They will learn, every time I just scream and shout, I will get it. So eventually when we had the home visit and we talked about it, I told the mom certain boundaries, when we draw it, it is not meant to be crossed. A no, it's a no. 13 years old is the same. It doesn't just apply to the 6-year-old. As long as you're living in this house, there are rules. 家有家规, right? So they need to learn that there are rules, you know, and sometimes I know it's hard to face the tension of our child shouting, you don't love me, you don't care for me, all my friends are okay. Yeah, let them say that, you know, it's not going to hurt. But if they continue to have their way by when they act out, then you are on a losing battle. So I feel that the earlier we nip it in the bud to help them see that I love you, that is why I'm drawing this boundary for you. I'm not saying that you cannot use your phone, but this is the timing that I'm allowing you. And you have showed mommy that you actually cannot control your usage. That's why I'm stepping in. So if you want to rebuild the trust to have the phone in your room, then show me you are able to keep to that. So if they are older, I think they are able to understand this is the rule. You want what you want, then you play within the rules. Yeah, so that's on the part about like mobile phones or like addiction, because it's always very easy to give in at that point of that tension. So we don't have to have like World War III at home. But I think that's why it's called child training. We do it again and again and again. Then when they grow older, then how come whatever I did seems to be undone? No, I feel that let's try again. Use another method. Yeah. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, so I think that was more of like how to manage when the child would rather plays iPad and iPhone rather than talking to me. Then when I'm talking to him, he just ignores me and continue to play his games and videos. Yeah, so that one I think quite common this issue.
So parents, before your child addicted to the handphone or computer, we need to do some planning or boundary draw out so that the child do not go into it. I think this is a temptation that try not to get your child step into it. You know, some temptation is we can go and face it. Some is better run away. Even I ask you to try and play the computer game, I think you will get hooked. You will get you will same as your child, even adult. So don't go into the temptation. Run away from there. The further the better. So don't let your child have a chance to run into the temptation. And this temptation is so great that because they are professional, they design this program that's so nice. If not nice, the boss already kick you out. The programmer already lost his job. So he designed it so well that he will attract everybody. You sure you will get hooked on. Just like drug, you can't get away from that. So our children, once he step in without good, proper boundary or awareness, he will surely hook inside, and it will be very hard for you to pull him out. So if parents, you have children, try to have more activities. Now in Western country, all this came from there. The rate on getting this computer problem is lesser Why? They have so many activities. When they have sport day, the parents have to drive them there because they don't have MRT. They only have, so the parents have to bring them there. When they go there, wow, they shout, they scream, they cheer for the children. After that, they bring the child back. After the sports day, everybody was so tired. Who will play computer? No one. And then each time they have a lot of sport. They take a ball out, they take the swimming, whatever. They will go out and they play. And they have big football field, they run, they climb. And when they come back, all tired. Only Chinese, our environment is suitable for children to play computer games. We always tell the children, so noisy, can you all be quiet? Yeah, the quiet thing is play computer. They were surely very quiet. So we are very happy. Yeah, quiet. Don't run about lah. How can you sit down and quiet? Yeah, the playing computer, they will sit down. They do not need a big place. Then every parents will be very happy. Wow, my child is so good. They're quiet. They sit there. So our environment is suitable for them to get addicted to all these computer games because it's our culture. We thought that these are the well-behaved child. Quiet, don't run, don't talk so much, just sit there, be quiet. Then then they will go into the computer game. So let them go out. Now cannot. Now COVID. After COVID, you make sure you go, let them go out and swim. By the time they come back, they have no strength to play computer. Go basketball, whatever, cycling. After so tired, they come back, surrender. If even you pass the handphone to in front of him, he say, no, tomorrow I want to rest. So I think it's because of our environment. It's so easy. That's why most cases are in our Chinese community. So parents just be aware. And if your child already addicted, we have, I think Celine have helped us to give talk on how to get away from this addicting phone, the handphone addicting. If already have, go and seek Anna for help. And I think Anna have very good programs, which I would like to let the parents know also. Children, when let's say I have a very good program. I have Photoshop, I can edit photo, but I still need someone to teach me some technique. I can make it beautiful. I can make it easier. There is a shortcut. So these are study method, skill, technique. So a children need to learn and also need to learn technique. So Anna is a higher learning tuition center, and our children need that because we need to pass our examination. If you go last time when we go interview a job, you want to be a doctor, yeah. Then your qualification, my qualification, my daddy is a doctor. My grandfather is a doctor. Grandfather. Last time, can. Yeah, you are experienced. Now cannot like you say your grandfather. So what? You need a certificate. So our society now, we really need to go for exam and get a certificate. So we have to equip our children with a better skill, better technique to learn how to cope with the test. Sometimes children are so bright, they can study so well, but when they go to examination, then they fail. Not that they are not smart, because they do not know how to face it. So Anna have a very good program. So before the talk,
Yeah, Anna, can you show us the
sharing.
slide?
Yeah, Anna,
Yeah,
please.
yes,
I
I
think
wanted
this
to
is a
share.
good news.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Actually, for us, our focus is not so much. I mean, yes, we are an academic center, but for us, our focus is not just about getting the grades, because we realize, I mean, on the note of communication, a lot of times the tension happens because parents and child are always talking about grades, right? That's almost the number one reason. The child is not getting the results. Then a parent think that they are lazy, they're not studying, they're not putting in effort. But when I've worked with youth for so long, and even in schools, some of the reasons for poor academic performance, actually, it's more than them not putting in effort. The teachers play a part in school. You know, I mean, one teacher to 40 students, how much? You can be the best teacher, but the reality is 1:40 is a huge ratio, actually. If your child, I don't believe, my number one belief is there's no stupid children. Yeah, in every child, there's potential for them to excel, to exceed. Yeah, but many times the environment and the society make them think that they are stupid, you know, the voices that they are hearing. So environment plays a big part. The peers, you know, what are the friends saying to them? How is the environment in school? Sometimes there's lack of motivation, meaning they don't understand, why must I do maths? I want to be a dancer, an artist next time. They don't see the link, you know, what I'm doing now and what I want to be. So if there's no motivation, you keep drilling them to do more, it may crush them. I think I've counseled enough students from the top JC secondary school in Singapore to know that, yeah, sometimes pressure, when they crush our kid, they can be the brightest child. But if they have not learned how to manage their expectation, that is very hard for them. And some of them have self-doubt and negative perception. And they will think that, anyway, I'm stupid, I don't do, at least I easy to explain, say I never study. But to us, it need not be like that. You know, every child has different potential. Every child has different learning ability. And if there are gaps for them, like one of the reasons is also poor fundamental, it could be because there's a lack of or wrong application of study techniques. Maybe they were not able to fully understand the concept, but the teacher moved on already. So to them, it's just like forever chasing after the bus, you know. So for us, we don't believe like every child should have tuition. I think I'm not an advocate for that. Some children just need certain techniques to learn how to learn better. We assume, right, we send our children to school, they know how to study, but that's not true. How can we just expect, we think that they go to school, confirm they learn, but have we ever sat in their class now? I mean, just to share the standards of what the children is expected of them in school actually is very, very high. And a lot of times they are expected to manage many subjects at the same time. So some of the program we do, we want to be able to customize and understand what is the learning gap for each of the child. Then we recommend. So if your child is already getting 80, 90, please don't, please don't sign them up for more tuition. Maybe what they need is time management, you know, learning how to manage their time so they also have enough time to eat well, to play, to sleep well. Yeah, maybe some of them is about managing their addiction or overcoming procrastination. So for us, apart from the academic program, what we value on more is actually life skills that will help our children not just win in tests, but succeed in life. Yeah, so we can find out more. So thank you, Dr. Ng, for
Yeah. So parents, if you've not been able to ask your questions or you're keen to find out more about high achievers coaching programs for students in primary and secondary schools, you can click on this link to direct your queries to Anna. So Anna can share her link with you.
Just share the screen for you all to see. Yeah.
So like if you have any questions and you want to find out more about the coaching programs, it's for students in primary and secondary schools. Okay. And if you'd like to find out more about the NeuroLAT program or sign up for a program trial, you can scan this QR code where you can leave your particulars and our consultants will connect with you as soon as they can. And if you want to find out more about future talks, you can also scan on this code and tell us and we will update you on that. And if you would like to join Dr. Ng tomorrow at 3 p.m., he will tell us the secret to unlocking our children's cognitive potential to think and learn faster. So you can indicate here in the link above just now, and our consultants will update you with the link for tomorrow's session. So once again, I'm Maddie, and thank you for joining us today, and we will see you again next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Anna.
Dr. Ng.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.